Hey, old curly jaws. Old curly jaws is saying, whoa, or I probably can't do it like him, but anyway, I am going to step away for just 1 second before I get started with everything, because as usual, um, I was running behind a little bit. Oh, curly jaws, you say Evil Dead in space, make it happen. I think that's the movie for you, old curly jaws. But I do have, hey, 71, I do have my dinner portion. This is a Greek goddess salad. Not that I think I'm a Greek goddess, but it sounded good. A Greek goddess salad from Panera Bread. Um, and I ate a little bit of it earlier, but I wanted to save the last half of it for the stream. Um, so, in case those of you, it is actually really good. Um, it's like a Greek goddess Cobb salad. So it's got, like your hard boiled eggs in it, and bacon and avocado. There's some chicken in there. Um, yeah, different types of lettuce. There are tomatoes. Yeah, it's pretty good. Oh, Curly Jaws, you had pork tacos. Well, the reason why, in case those of you didn't read the that far down in the description, other than past what videos or videos, movies I would be covering, I picked Hippie Cuisine. Um, and that's not meant to be offensive or anything to anybody that was a hippie back in the mid to late 60s, probably primarily the late 60s. But the two movies that I'm going to cover tonight both came out in 1968. Um, and so I thought, well, let's do this. Let's just have some hippie cuisine. Hey, Menelect. Oh, Curly Jaws, you think my salad needs chocolate? I don't know if I'd want to put chocolate on that. Oh, Curly Jaws, you are hippie. Well, there's many different versions of hippies. So I would assume that you definitely could be. But before I sample this some more, me being diabetic, I do need to take my insulin, and I'm not going to take it in front of you guys and gross you guys out. So I'm going to step away to do that, and I will return in just a second. Okay. Oh, Curly Georgie said there's a Norwegian death metal hippies that worship the devil in my home country of Norwegia. Oh, that sounds kind of scary and kind of interesting too. Yeah, Texas says Death Race 2023 featuring no curly jaws. Um, here's how behind I am on curly jaws. I didn't even know there was going to be a Final Destination 6. To be honest, I think I lost count of those somewhere along the way. I did like the early Final Destination movies, like the first two. You said that's the best horror franchise of all time, hands down. Texas says Lords of Chaos. 71 says, damn. Oh, Curly Jaws, you get more interesting every day. Oh, Curly Jaws is a very interesting guy, which is why I generally don't turn down his offers to come on my streams. And 71, you say you love Final Destination. I like the first two, and I guess I dropped out after that, which probably explains why I wasn't aware that there was going to be a Final Destination 6. He does have good hair. Guys, I'm really surprised. I mean, some of these people might drop out, but I'm surprised that based on what I'm going to be covering tonight, there's 7 people in here right now. So I hope you guys don't mind me eating a little bit of the salad as we go along. I'll try not to be too messy with it. The avocado is really good, but it is a little messy. But I did want to remind everybody that Saturday, I will be doing barring, like I always say, anything happening. The My Bloody Valentine, and yes, I will have My Bloody Valentine shirt from Fright Rags on. I will be doing a watch along for My Bloody Valentine with the Moosehead beer in hand. Um, and I want to, invite anyone and everyone that wants to not only come to the chat part of it, but also anybody that wants to come live on the stream with me. Um, so, uh, Taser, you say I was lazy and made Chef Boyardee. Well, I was looking at, some foods from the 60s in general, Texas, and they didn't exactly show Chef Boyardee, but I think they did show a can of SpaghettiOs, so, that totally fits. Oh, Curly Jaws, you say for St. Patrick's Week, we cover the Leprechaun franchise. That would be a good idea, oh, Curly Jaws. I just would need to brush up on a few of those. You say it'd be epic? Oh, definitely, it would be epic. Oh, Curly Jaws, you say try to be there. Ooh. 71, you say overstuffed ravioli sounds good. It actually does. Oh, Curly Jaws, you say Chef Boyardee pizza, fucking awesome. I'm trying to remember if I've had the Chef Boyardee pizza. Is that the ones like you can get the little pizza kits and make it yourself at home? Oh, Curly Jaws. You're having that and beefaroni, Texas. Yeah, we're just a little bit over from you, oh Curly Jaws, and the winds have been super bad here as well. I'm surprised we didn't lose power and or internet, um, which I'm thankful for because I was needing to get a lot of stuff, different things done at work, and I did knock out a few tickets today, for which that ultimately relieved me a little bit. I still have quite a few to go, but not as many as I've heard some people say they have. Oh, Carla Judge, you say yes, they are great. And Texas, you say I've got Parmesan cheese in it. Yeah, I think it's what is the temp? It's like 48 here. 71. You say it's 50 here and I'm freezing for once. Yeah, I mean it was in the, and I would assume in Indiana it was also in the upper 60s earlier today. And then those winds must have just brought in some cold air. Oh, did you? Oh, Curly Judge, you say you seen Dennis and Dennis 2 at Walmart? So, again, I will be doing the watch along, more than likely starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time, not tomorrow, but Saturday for My Bloody Valentine. And as usual, I know I've been a little bit of a slacker this week and basically only did a couple of things. I did There's something about Tarantino last night instead of doing it Tuesday. And now I'm doing my dinner with the Palma. And then, of course, I'll do the watch along Saturday. 71, you say, my body is a mess when it's cold and I'm overheated. And when it's warmer, I'm freezing. I do that too sometimes. Oh, Curly Jones, you said it was nice earlier today. Yeah, but I didn't really get to enjoy it because I'm kind of, when I'm working, I'm kind of chained to my desk. But tomorrow is a little bit shorter day for me. But next Friday, I got to work the late shift, which is 1 to 7, which is not, that's not too bad. And I only have to do that, you know, once every couple of months or so, something like that. So I don't think that that's too much to ask of me to do that. Now, if we were in Central Time, like they are in Texas, it would be 12 to 6. Yes, oh girl, Jaws, you are correct. I have never worked a midnight shift, and I really don't want to make that something that I'm doing at the age I am now. But you guys go ahead and keep throwing things in the chat. I do look at the chat as I'm discussing the movies. I'll try not to crunch too much on this lettuce and my salad, but boy, is it yummy. So, yeah, I would imagine. I was gonna say I figured you had old curly jaws, being a lot younger than me. Yeah, I would imagine it's pretty awful. Um. So anyway, let's get to the first movie that I was going to talk about tonight. And, I'll start this off by saying I thought that this was going to be refreshing for me to go back and watch some of the older De Palma stuff. And I was excited about Murder All Ahmad, which is the first one I'm going to talk about. I really was looking forward to it. I didn't prejudge it in any way or any of that stuff. However, as I said on one of the other streams, I found out that Murder All Ahmad was a special feature on the Criterion Blowout release. So I thought, oh, well, that'll make it easy. I'll just, because I already had that release, I'll just put that in, bring up Murder All Ahmad and watch it. But guys, honestly, maybe I just don't appreciate what De Palma was trying to do with this movie. It definitely had some slight Hitchcock elements in it, like showing the time on the screen, which sort of reminded me of Psycho. And I'm sure Hitchcock did it in other movies. I'm just not um, thinking of them right now. And I liked that it kind of showed scenes out of order, and that sort of made you a little off kilter while watching it. But and there was at least one kill scene that was interesting and bloody and typical De Palma-esque stuff. And William Finley was in it. But, some people talk about Phantom of the Paradise being kind of goofy and stuff like this, but this was just too goofy and too slapstick for me. Because even though it dealt with a murder, and it dealt with this guy that was tortured by wanting to to be a filmmaker, but his big thing was he has a girlfriend who he wants to marry, but he's already married to another woman. And this woman, I don't know what kind of hold she's got on him, but she basically tells him, we can get divorced if you give me $10,000. And in order to, I guess, to get the $10,000, he's got to make a successful movie. So he's a very tortured guy because the girlfriend comes to see him, and he has previously told her that his wife is dead, not that he is needing a divorce. And so when she comes to see him, he's like, "You have to leave." And she's like, "But why do I have to leave? Because we're in love and I love you. You said you wanted to marry me. Why are you telling me to go away now?" Hey, Blair. Uh, and so he explains to her that he's got embroiled in this whole thing about making a movie, but he's gotten connected with this guy named Otto, who is William Finley's character. I think this may have been William Finley's debut, actually. And William Finley also did the title song, Murder All Ahmad. And the Otto character, though, is just so off the wall and goofy and slapstick. And I was like, well, I don't understand what kind of film De Palma's trying to make here. Is he trying to make a slasher Jallo-esque type of film? Is he trying to make a Hitchcock film? Or hell, is he trying to make a comedy here? Because this seemed to be like a mishmash of different genres. Because it was like the film was sped up at certain times where Otto was running around town, and he was just, and it was playing this kind of silly music and all that. And I wasn't bored by it, but I've been so tired because of work that I did kind of nod off for half a second during certain parts of it. So that might have been why I was a little bit confused. Because at one point it looks like Otto kills the girlfriend. Because he's got a real ice pick and a fake ice pick. And he's talking about the pick all the time. I've got the fake pick, and they think I got the real pick, and I really do have the real pick. And I mean, literally, that's how he's talking in the film. And when the filmmaker guy, Christopher, is talking to his girlfriend and explain to her why she needs to leave him and just go away. He says that he's involved with this guy, Otto, and Otto is basically crazy. And Otto wants to make like sex films, basically, adult films or nudies as they call them. And he has a little peephole in the ceiling of the set. And these women do not know that he's watching as they're undressing and different things for scenes or for interviews to see if they get the part and all of that. So Otto's pretty perverted. Um, Otto Shop. I don't even know what his last name was. 71, you said maybe De Palma had writer's block. It's possible. What do you say? Has Deadpit ever thought about making a horror movie? Well, I can't really speak for CK and Uncle Bill and stuff, but I think once upon a time, a long time ago, I think that they might have thought about doing it, but that probably would be something to actually ask CK about. Oh God, it's the return of Uncle Rad. Uncle Rad says, "No, we are just hillbillies, not filmmakers, boss." What was that one thing that CK and Uncle Bill did, though, Uncle Rad? Or are you Uncle Bill tonight with the Uncle Rad name? We got to know who we're talking to here. I think so too, 71. Hillbillies will make the best filmmakers. So, like I said, y'all keep chatting in there, but I can't really say that I was a fan of Murder a la Maude. I thought I was going to like it. I really thought I was. Um, and I'm not going to begrudge De Palma. He was probably still honing his craft at that point in time. But the movie was so haphazard and so confusing to me that I was still confused at the end of it. I was like, did Otto kill the girlfriend, or did Christopher kill his own girlfriend? Uh, it looked like two different things. It looked like at one time Otto had killed her with the ice pick and stuffed her in a trunk that he was rolling around town. And then at the end, it looked like Christopher killed her. So I'm still totally, even though I watched it and everything, I'm still kind of confused by it. Which I'm not gonna show trailers anymore, but I don't think I looked at the actual plot synopsis for Murder All Maude. So I'm actually gonna see. So, naive young Karen, and that's the girl I was talking about that gets murdered in the film, the girlfriend to Christopher, wants to keep her struggling amateur filmmaker boyfriend Christopher. She wants to help him raise enough money so he can divorce his wife. Well, I got that. Meanwhile, jolly psycho prankster Otto stalks the building where Christopher is shooting a low grade adult movie in order to keep himself afloat. Yes, that is basically what I saw. Uh, yes, Uncle Rad, you say they did Haddonfield. Yes, 71. I will warn anybody, I'm not going to tell you to stay away from it. You know, if you're curious, definitely take a look at it. As far as being an early work by De Palma. But be prepared to be confused. I would be shocked if there weren't other people that were confused by this film. I'm not even sure about it. Only got a 5.4 rating on IMDb, it looks like. But it did have, some De Palma regulars or people that would become De Palma regulars, including William Finley, Jennifer Salt. Trying to see here. And just had some weird little things in it, like Karen's friend goes back into a shop to buy a dress because she says she just can't resist. And when she gets there, another girl has got her dress on and refuses to take it off. And I'm like, I don't get it. Yeah, and a little trivia for you. And they call this the tagline for this movie actually is a lost horror film from Brian De Palma. I don't know what I would call it. The genres listed are crime, comedy, mystery, and thriller. Um, but they were probably what they were doing is that was probably added as a tagline later to cash in on De Palma's other more famous stuff at that time. So trivia is, although the film is copyrighted in 1967, it actually wasn't released until 68. And as I said, this film is featured as a bonus on Blowout, released by Criterion Collection. And actually, scenes from Murder a la Maude are shown on the television in Blowout if you look closely. But so somebody actually said this is interesting. Somebody said worst scene: Peeping Tom meets Psycho meets Pulp Fiction, and they gave it a 6 out of 10. They said, just finished watching this early De Palma, and I'm glad that I was finally able to see it. I have seen almost all his early films, and this one certainly was not boring. In fact, there were a few thrills and chills. I found the story confusing, so I guess I'm not the only one that found the story confusing. But it still kept my attention. It featured some good De Palma stylish moments as well as clumsy comedy. I was reminded of some of his later works, and when you watch this film, it's apparent that De Palma really knew how to get the right thriller feel, even way back in his black and white days. This film, in its own way, is about as good as a Black Dahlia, but you got to be a De Palma fan. Well, I am a De Palma fan, but I am glad to know that other people found it confusing. Um, but it looks like there were a few people that did like it. Now, one person said it was poorly paced. Um, Somebody gave it a 9 out of. Oh my gosh. This is my cousin. My cousin Jed that I talk about gave this film a 9 out of 10. I can't believe that I ran across one of Jed's reviews. Um, So he says he bought this expecting nothing because I knew nothing of it. I'd always thought Greetings was De Palma's first feature, but I was wrong, I guess. I thought this movie would have the feel of a student produced documentary or something small like that, but this film is somewhat wide in scope and pleases for a movie of its age. I can't believe this unseen gem has aged so well, while mainstream crap from the 60s just shatters on. This movie is the wave of the future that was to come. If you've ever seen Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown, I remember the sequence where all the characters go to the mall and it's told from three different points of view. And I could definitely see that. And being as I talked about Jackie Brown not very long ago, I can definitely see that. But I think my cousin gave it probably the highest rating, and he wrote that review in 2006, guys. Like I said, I never dreamed I'd run across one of my cousin Jed's reviews on IMDb. But so you were right on the money, 71, when you said it sounds like a confusing movie. But I am glad that Jed's review reminded me that the scenes in it where it's shown from different characters' points of view is definitely like Jackie Brown, which kind of creates a 6 degrees of Brian De Palma, or 6 degrees of Quentin Tarantino. So I think what I'm going to do with that movie is I'm going to wait a while, since I've already got it on the blowout release. Then I'm going to go back and try rewatching it again. Maybe when I'm not so tired. And if I feel differently about it, I'll try to give you guys an update on it. Yes, it does have some groovy music in it, 71. I do agree. I actually like the Murder All of Mod song. I can't do it like they do in the movie. I'm not a singer. So, but I did, that song was kind of catchy to me. So, moving right along, as I generally say, I don't like these things to be that long, was Greetings. And Greetings is pretty much a comedy or a sex comedy. I was a little bit amused when it first came on. It had a excuse me, an X rating. But we got to keep in mind this was back in 1968. And it said that people under 16 were not able to see it. I mean, it's not that dirty of a film, actually. It's not like it's a porno or anything. So, even though I'm not showing trailers, I will give you a little bit of a plot synopsis for Greetings. And this does have Robert De Niro on it. And this pretty much says it all in the plot synopsis. It says 3 friends in New York City discuss how to dodge the draft in Vietnam, JFK's assassination, voyeurism, computer dating, and everything else. And honestly, guys, I did not realize that in 1968 there was computer dating. I had no idea that that was a thing then. Did anybody else know that computer dating was a thing back in 1968? Yes, they definitely were stricter back then. Because this did have some nudity in it. I mean, some breasts were shown. I'm not going to lie about that. When you say I wasn't born, no clue, LOL. I was not either. I wouldn't be born for a few more years yet. And Steve wasn't around in 68 either. He wasn't born until 1969. Sorry guys, I am kind of hungry. I'm kind of getting spoiled to doing these my dinner with the Palmas most every week, and then having some kind of little snack. So, like I said, the plot synopsis for Greetings pretty much that encompasses what's in the movie. And Garrett Graham is also in this movie. Robert De Niro. Let's see who else. This was, I believe, well, maybe it wasn't the debut of Jonathan Warden, but Jonathan Warden's in it. Robert De Niro, Garrett Graham. Britannia Alda, a very young Britannia Alda in this. She actually played the shoplifter. Um, so, yeah, basically, Robert De Niro, Jonathan Warden, and Garrett Graham play three friends, Paul, John, and Lloyd. And Garrett Graham's character of Lloyd is pretty much obsessed with the Kennedy assassination. Instead of like, he tells this one story about these two women basically attacking him sexually. But then, in the next breath, he's talking about, one of his theories about the Kennedy assassination. I mean, he is completely obsessed. Um, Robert De Niro's character of John is a peeper. He's even reading books about peepers and the psychology of them. He likes to look into people's windows in apartments and stuff like that and see what's going on. And he even explains this to Britannia Alda's character at one point, that he wants her to be in this film that he's doing. Um, where he basically has her take her clothes off, but she doesn't get, as far as I remember, she doesn't get completely naked in the film. And so by the end of the film, John is in Vietnam. I mean, we can clearly tell it's not Vietnam. And he basically tells this news guy that he's somebody that is a killing machine, basically. Search and destroy type of business. But then in the next scene, after the news guy has gone away, you see him filming a Vietnamese woman. And then it flashes back to when he was with Britannia Alda filming her. So basically, you hear the gunfire and stuff going on around him, but he's just, taking it all in stride and still making his little films. Jonathan Warden, who plays Paul, is a guy that is trying to avoid the draft, avoid having to go to Vietnam. And so there are several funny scenes where mostly Garrett Graham's character of Lloyd is telling Paul how he can avoid it by one, acting gay, um, or two, acting like something is mentally wrong with him. And so they tell Paul how to dress and all of that. And then of course Lloyd goes back off on his Kennedy assassination kick. And so then there's Paul, who not only is trying to avoid going to war, but he's also wanting to find a woman, I guess, that he meshes with, because you see him with a woman. I thought, oh, well, this must be his girlfriend, forgetting that this was the late 60s when guys would probably have had many girlfriends or sex partners. And I kind of flash back to the Woodstock film when this whole thing where he was meeting different women through the computer dating. That scene in Woodstock where they're talking to what appears at first to be a couple. And then we find out, well, they say we like being together and we ball and stuff. So I guess that's what they said back in the 60s instead of saying, using the F word like people would now. When they said they have sex, we ball. That's how they put it. But they made it clear that they were not exclusive to each other. They could go and have sex with somebody else and then come back together and have sex with each other and then go off and have sex with somebody else. It was just a different a time period. So that's kind of what the whole thing with Paul going from one woman to the other um, reminded me of, was that scene in Woodstock. So the the computer dating things where he meets each one of his dates was hilarious. That was probably my favorite part of the entire film. I mean, I like this one, believe it or not, better, much better than Murder All of Mod. Now that might change, given a little more time. Um, but right now, I feel like one, Greetings was a more coherent film. Um, but my thoughts might change on it. My thoughts have changed about other movies, so I'm not going to say that I'm definitely going to feel the same way if I wait. Let's say I wait a couple of years and I watch Murder All of Mod just on a whim. Um, and not be watching it for a stream or anything like that. I'm just purely watching it for entertainment. Perhaps I might feel differently about it. But out of the two films, right now, I feel like that Greetings was a more coherent and a lot more fun film for me. Um, I mean, I know that De Palma does have comedy elements in his films, even the more horrific films. He will stick things in there, like with Carrie. He had, a sped up scene where they're in the tuxedo shop. The boys are in the tuxedo shop, getting their tuxedos and getting fitted for them, and they go through the blah 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 blah, blah where it's all sped up. Um, so he's good at that. He's good at the comedy elements too. And I'm surprised really that De Palma didn't do more comedies actually. So we still got 8 people in here. Well, now it dropped to 4. Like I said, I think some people just kind of jump in and out of live streams just to see what people are talking about. They're not talking about something that's interesting to them. Yeah, they hop on to the next one. Let's see if there's any. This was, if you want a little trivia, this was Robert De Niro's first credited feature film role. And this was the first film in the United States to receive an X rating in its original release. It opened in New York City on December 15th, 1968. A clip of this movie is on the 50 worst movies ever made. Although this is actually Brian De Palma's second film, it was released before his first, The Wedding Party, which The Wedding Party, by the way, will be one that I will be covering next time. This was also Garrett Graham's first motion picture. Brian De Palma and his co-writer Charles Hirsch admitted that in writing this film, they were greatly under the influence of Jean-Luc Godard's film Masculine Feminine from 1966. Garrett Graham's character frequently mentions the film Blow Up from 1966, a film that director Brian De Palma would later remake as Blow Out. Writer and director Brian De Palma and Robert De Niro worked together on this movie, Hi Mom, which was a sequel to Greetings and The Untouchables. At the 37-minute, 37 seconds, there is a print ad for Chanel featuring Ally McGraw. This was Ruthenia Alda's film debut. I knew she was pretty young in it. In the movie, Peter Maloney plays a character who claims to be a witness to President John F. Kennedy's assassination in Dallas, 1963. Years later, Maloney appeared in JFK, where he played a medical doctor who was part of Kennedy's autopsy. This is the film debut of Jonathan Warden. As of 2022, it marks his only film performance. So that's kind of interesting as well. There are alternate versions of this movie as well. The original theatrical version was rated X. Some sexual material was cut to be re-rated R. DVD editions delete copyright info under the title during the opening credits. I'm not sure why they did that, but and again, this does have a pretty catchy song in it called Greetings, written by Eric Kaz and performed by the Children of Paradise. So, before I lose any more people, I want to hear, has anybody that's still in the chat, have they actually seen either of these movies? And I just wanted to know what some of you guys thought about the movies. I'm going to take a few more bites of my salad. No takers? Has anybody that's in here seen either of the two movies? Texas, you say you have not. Well, are you intrigued by one or the other that you think you might watch one of them? Or possibly both of them? Because, like I said, I'm willing to give Murder a la Mode another try. I am not completely written that movie off or anything. My cousin Jed would probably be very disappointed in me about what I'm saying about it. So, Texas, you say, yeah, I'd check them out. So, I'm probably going to try to stay on here for at least an hour. Which will be for another 6 minutes if y'all want to discuss anything. Wes says, Dana, what the fuck are these movies? They're very, very early De Palma movies, Wes. I take it from your response is you probably never heard of these and or never watched them. That one makes me want to have a mudslide blizzard. Which one is that, Wes? Murder a la Mode or Greetings? My guess is Murder a la Mode. What you say, I'm not a big De Palma fan, just a couple of films. Yeah, and I think a lot of people are like that. But, really what I wanted to do with these streams for the De Palma movies is not only give myself a chance to check out all of his films, but to also give you guys maybe some films that, just kind of throw them out there, ones that maybe you hadn't watched that you may actually enjoy. Just because I didn't 100% enjoy them on a first watch doesn't mean that somebody else might not. Murder a la Mudslide. Takes you say, I ordered that movie Becky today. I watched it last year. Violent as fuck. I was thinking that Steve watched Becky as well, but I don't think he bought it. But if it's the one I'm thinking of, yeah, it was pretty violent. Wes, you say, I hate Kevin James with a passion. And Texas says, I don't like him either, but he played a pretty good bad guy. So, how about you, Wes? Are you gonna come to the My Bloody Valentine watch along? And are you gonna be live on it with me? Because you have an invite. Messy, messy, messy. Actually, I'm inviting everybody as I usually do. Okay. You say if you're at home, you might. Okay, cool. I was kind of hoping we'd have several, live on here with me. So, guys, I got about a couple more minutes on here, and I know I'm kind of just sitting here crunching on the salad, but I like to kind of give you guys a chance to bring up some things, or suggest some things or things like that towards the end of the stream. And truth be told, I really wanted to do this stream, but I am just been so tired um that I just almost kind of like feel myself zoning out a little bit, um which is probably a good thing it's Friday tomorrow. And that I don't have to work as long. You want Uncle Rad to eat a garden salad from your ass crack with French dressing? Why French dressing? I'm just wondering. I don't know that I've ever had French dressing. So, I guess it's been an hour, guys. So, oh Lord, creamy French. Okay, before this gets any deeper in here, I want to thank everybody for stopping by tonight and listening to my incessant ramblings about a couple more De Palma films. I will have, I think, approximately two more streams for the De Palma films. And then I'm thinking of going, you guys gave me some ideas last night about possible directors I could cover. And somebody brought up Coscarelli. I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to do a Coscarelli one. You're very welcome, Texas. And I promise you, Wes, that as soon as I can get my butt in gear, I'll do the poopy avati stuff. Because, you've got me intrigued at this point. And I'm not being sarcastic. But on that note, guys, this tired gal is going to skedaddle on out here for the night. And I will see everyone on the flip side. Y'all have a good night now.